Cool, man. Gareth, welcome to the Sports Editor. It's really good to have you on the show. Thanks for talking the wonderful sport of rugby again.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for having me.
Lekker, man. So you started at the Worcester Warriors Academy, and you also played a bit of Premiership Sevens rugby there. And there just seems to be a lot of rugby in England. Is that quite a right thing to say?
Yeah, I'll definitely agree. So there's a few competitions that sort of run alongside the Premiership. So you obviously have the Premiership, which is your main competition. And then at the beginning of every season, they play the Premiership Sevens, which is like sort of a time to showcase any young and up-and-coming talent that some teams might have. And it's also sometimes like a last chance for players to impress the coaches before the season starts. And then during the season, we have the Premiership Cup, which is also another chance for youngsters to get experience at first team level, and a chance for the coaches to see them there. And then there's the European Cup. And this year we played some games in France and even a game in Russia, which was very interesting. And then the sort of B team competition, or the A side competition, is the Premiership Shield, which is also a very exciting competition because there's a lot of youngsters who are coming through the ranks trying to prove themselves to the coaches, but then also mixed in is a lot of senior guys towards the end of their careers. So the mixture of the experience and the youngsters really creates quite an exciting competition. So it makes for a long season with all these competitions, but it's definitely good because there's a lot of chances to impress the coaches and a lot of game time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sort of gives you a lot to look forward to, because maybe you might have struggled in that sort of set of fixtures, but you got this coming up and that cup coming up. So really, you got a lot of time to sort things out. And wow, you've got lots of game time to look forward to. That's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because soon after you played Premiership Sevens, you made your debut against Leicester Tigers. And I think you guys gave them a hiding there. And you played with Francois Hocha. Did he give you sort of any tips or any direction as to what you can expect?
He didn't give me any specific advice before the game, but throughout my time here, he's definitely been a sort of mentor to me. And he's always encouraged me to sort of trust my own instincts and just trust myself on the field and do what I know I'm capable of, which has been very nice to have. He's obviously an outstanding rugby player and he's very experienced. So just at training, being able to watch him and learn off him has really been a great experience. And then the other two scrum halves that are also in the squad are also a bit older and more experienced than I am. So having this mix of three different guys who play three different types of games has been really good to learn off all of them. And they're all very helpful and always give me advice and stuff, which has been really lucky and really nice.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because if you just look at your career, it has been progressing. Obviously it's always nice to go from the academy into the senior men's side. And I believe you've also signed a 2-year contract with the Worcester Warriors. So your career is making nice progress.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I was very lucky to get a trial at Worcester just over a year and a half ago now. And I was initially supposed to be here for 3 weeks just on a trial for them to see what I'm like. And then at the end of it, they offered me a 1-year contract they said I needed to try and improve myself or prove myself to them. And through the off season, I just worked really hard. And in preseason, I worked really hard to try and improve my game and keep growing. And after the first few games of this season, they offered me a 2-year contract. And I'm very grateful to them for the opportunity that they have given me. And I'm really looking forward to what these 2 years have to offer.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, you seem to be in it with quite the right approach. Your mindset seems quite positive, so I'm sure it's going to work out for you in things. And just in the competition that you're in, there's so much scope. There's always people watching, so you never know what it could lead to. So it's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We're going to go back a bit into where it all started. Obviously, from South Africa, and you attended Durban High School. You enjoyed your year spent there?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. DHS is a very good, well-rounded school in terms of academics, sports, and the cultural side. And I think it's a really good place to develop people, not necessarily sportsmen or anything. They develop good people. And the friends and the teammates and stuff that I had there really shaped me as a person and as a rugby player. In terms of the rugby, we weren't necessarily the strongest team while I was there, but that also offered a lot of lessons in terms of how to overcome adversity and stuff like that, which I found really valuable. And yeah, I can't thank DHS enough for how they've helped me in my life. So I really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, and I think since you've left, there's a lot has happened. I mean, a lot of guys have been called up to the Sharks.
Yeah.
There's been some nonsense with Glenwood. So there's a lot of things happening. But no, definitely they're working very hard. They're often in the headlines for doing the right thing. So it's good to see. It's really good to see. And then straight after school, it was Sharks under 19, and that's where your professional career really started taking off. But you feel you had more to offer as a player. You wanted to broaden your horizons, you could say.
Yes, yeah, definitely. The Sharks was always my hometown team and the team that I supported throughout my life. So being able to sign there and play there for a bit was like a dream come true. And I did really enjoy my time at the Sharks. I just felt sometimes that some of the coaching didn't allow me to express myself as a player. And I sort of found sometimes I wasn't allowed to grow, which also it offered lessons, and I learned about the professional environment and what that sort of entails there. So I really did enjoy my time there, but I did feel that I had a lot more growing to do as a player, and I thought I definitely could broaden my horizons a little bit.
Because one thing that I've picked up, and it might have affected you as well, is that simple mentality where you need to be big to play rugby. And obviously that might have had an effect on you where you thought, well, these guys are never really going to give me a chance. I'm going to go overseas. Did you feel you were told a few times, are you too small for the game?
Yeah, so throughout my schooling career, I was always the smallest on the field. And sometimes when it came to selecting representative teams and stuff, they told me that I need to bulk up a bit. And I didn't really grow until I was 18, 19. And by then, obviously having lived in Durban and the Sharks setup, I was sort of known for being that smaller guy. But when my body did eventually catch up, I used that extra time to try and hone my skills and perfect my skills side of the game. So then I did think that perhaps, look, was a good decision.
No, that's excellent. Because by you doing that, you've been able to play in two positions, and obviously a very good fly half and a brilliant scrum half. Which position do you feel gets the most out of you in a fixture?
I get asked this one a lot. I really enjoy playing fly half, and I enjoy sort of the controlling aspect of playing fly half and like the decision making. And I've had some coaches who prefer to play me at fly half, but for me, I feel playing scrum half is a lot more natural. I've played there a lot more of my life. I've had a lot more game time there, and I sort of make decisions based on instinct rather than at fly half. I have to think about things a lot more. So I prefer playing 9, but I do enjoy both of them, and being able to see the game from different aspects, I think has also benefited me to help me grow more as a player.
That's true. And talking about that and the style of rugby that's played in England, it's quite a quick game. How the kicking game, is that used quite a lot there, do you feel? And that's something that could benefit your game?
Yes, yeah, definitely. The Premiership is a very tight, strong competition, and there's the threat of relegation. So the territorial battle is quite a big thing. So sort of kicking to win the ball back or kicking to force the opposition to make mistakes is definitely a big part of the game. If you have a strong enough defense, you can sort of put the other team in their half and try and keep them there and force them to make mistakes. But then you do have to have the attack to be able to exploit those opportunities that you get. And personally, I feel like kicking is one of my strengths. And obviously, having played 9 and 10, you kick from both positions. So different styles and types of kicking, I feel more so is one of my strengths.
What would you rate your kicking out of 10?
Oh,
No pressure.
I don't like to rate myself, but I would say I'm up above 8. I would think 7.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. Just reading some headlines that they've said about you is that you're very good at kicking out of hand. And obviously, looking at your kicking game, you know you've had to work on a few things. Is that one aspect that you've looked at and said, right, it's kicking out of hand, I must be brilliant at it. That's something I'm aiming to achieve here.
Yeah, so obviously as a scrum half and flower, if you have your key skills or your core skills that you need to be good at, and for both positions, kicking is one of the top priorities. So I definitely work very hard on trying to be consistent and have one of the better kicking games in the competition. So that is definitely something I am working on. I feel I'm already pretty strong at it, but yeah, always trying to improve and make it perfect.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. You've been around the world a bit, and you actually spent some time in New Zealand as well. What was the decision there, and did you feel, well, maybe Northern Hemisphere rugby is going to suit me a bit better?
No, I absolutely love my time in New Zealand. I was very fortunate. Murray Mexted, who is an ex-All Black, gave me an opportunity to go on the International Rugby Academy, which is a 3-week sort of professional players course where you get coached by ex-All Blacks, ex-international coaches and stuff like that. And it was an amazing experience. And after that, he arranged for me to play for his ex-club in Wellington, which was the Wellington Football Club, or the Axemen. And I really enjoyed the style of rugby that they play, and I had an amazing time. The club rugby competition was so competitive as well. But unfortunately, I couldn't get a work visa. I'd got into the development, started looking for opportunities up north.
Brilliant. Talking about club rugby and all that, do you still follow Super Rugby at all?
Yes, yeah. A lot of my friends from the Sharks are playing there currently, and obviously some DHS boys are playing there. So I do follow it quite keenly, yeah.
I just want to get your opinion on something, because if you look at the teams that have won the Rugby World Cup, I think out of 9 times, Northern Hemisphere side has only won it once. Southern Hemisphere side has 8 times. But the English League and the French League are probably the best in the world. So what is it? Why do the players want to play in England and France, but England, well, the Northern Hemisphere sides are not winning the World Cup as often as the Southern Hemisphere sides?
That's quite a tough one. I think if you look at the Six Nations and, like you say, sort of the Premiership and the top 14 in that, they are very, very competitive leagues. But I think that has a lot to do with the promotion relegation side of it, and the money that's involved. So if you get relegated to a lower league, you lose a lot of sponsors and stuff like that. So teams play a very restricted game because they would rather not lose than try to win. And I think in the Southern Hemisphere, you're playing more to try and win than to not lose. And I think sometimes that mentality crosses into the international game. And especially in World Cups, you sometimes try to be a bit too safe, whereas that it's a perfect chance for you to try and sort of express yourself as a team, a bit more dominant at World Cup time.
That's true. That's very, very true. Yeah, nice answer there, Gareth. I think that sums it up nicely for us right there. It's good because it's always a point of discussion, and people always want to know and get their opinion as to who's better. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. Gareth, and as we sort of draw to an end, how are you finding the lifestyle in England? Are you enjoying it there? Everything going well for you?
Yes, yeah, I'm loving it. I was originally born here, so I've got a lot of family here. So I've got my parents have recently moved over as well. So I've got a great support system here. I'm really loving the lifestyle. Winter was something to get used to, obviously being a Durban boy. I'm used to a bit of a warmer climate. But once you sort of acclimatize to that, Yeah, it is. It is a very nice lifestyle over here. I do miss the beach and stuff from Durban, but you can't have everything all the time. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's true. Yeah. Well, guys, it's been really nice to catch up with you and just see how well you've done at such a young age, and you're really making a name for yourself. And I'm sure perhaps a year from now we'll touch sides again and just see how your career's doing. But I really reckon it's on the up. So keep doing what you're doing because you obviously all the hard work's paying off.
Oh, awesome! Thank you so much for having me. Nice to chat.
Thanks, Gareth. We'll chat again soon, my man.
Perfect. Cheers.
All the best, man. Cheers,
Thank
man.
you. Cheers. Cheers.